feel that I'm spending I'm a lot of time and effort going down into flexion, and I'm not getting any feedback per se of what I do on the extension part, and what they've told me in my 20 years of post-stroke exercise is that I should never be trying to build strength on my flexion, since I'm already good at flexion, because they say that it's going to make my flexion stronger, which is going to make it more difficult for me to extend. Does that make any sense?
So I'm not sure what your question is though, Craig.
I feel like I am making flexion stronger, which to me is making me not be able to extend.
Sure. Now, I think one of these things that we need to mention is when we increase our, well, kind of these activities, we're focusing on both the flexion and extension, right?
Okay.
And so what we can do is we can actually sort of change the behavior a little bit here, right? So it's kind of a trade-off where we have to have some help to get you into extension. We know we have some movement there into extension, right?
Right.
It's much smaller than what we have into flexion. Okay. Now, for us to get up into extension, to get you to move into extension, we have to provide some of that assistance to do that, right? Now, the challenge is that when you get your way up into extension, there's more force against that. And when you're next asked to move into flexion, you effectively have to physically move down into that sort of force. What we can do is, if this is a concern for you, we can just modify the way in which you're kind of going down into flexion, right? We can basically present as if you're trying to not have as much force into flexion, and then the Motus hand will detect that, and it will reduce the force quicker. So you'll have to push against less resistance. So we can try that now really quickly. So go ahead and just try it real quick. Okay. So let's go ahead and hit the play button. So now I'm going to have you're already kind of down into flexion. So you're already there. So now I'm going to try to have you go up into extension as far as you can go for me. And it will kick in here. Okay. So now, as soon as you get up into extension, you complete that task. Or actually, we'll wait for this rep to finish here. Okay. So now, instead of really trying to force your way down, just let the Motus hand help you move into flexion. Okay. Okay. Yep. So that's what I'm saying. We can kind of modify the way we interact with it. So it will detect that. Does that make sense? Because now you're providing less force. You're going to get that help into extension. And so it's just a little bit of a swap in the way we interact with things. And that will help us focus more on that. Okay. And this is also good for you too, Craig, to learn how to disentangle our flexors and extensors, right? So you're able to kind of learn to turn those guys off and allow it to help you. Now, does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.